Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Formula West Leagues presents the Tuesday Night Challenger Series. This is round 9 around the beautiful Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the United Arab Emirates. And welcome back. Last week on Formula West League presents the Friday Night Lights Series, we watched as Sketchy Bull locked down the Drivers' Championship for the Friday Night Lights Series, his second championship in a row, if I do remember correctly. But here in the Tuesday Night Challenger Series, we have a close battle coming out for the Drivers' Championship. Looking at the standings as they stand now, Silly Bird still maintains a 2-point lead in the Drivers' Championship over Schmerzy with 2 races left to go. Push It Storm close behind. Down, 25 points as we load into qualifying today. Schmerzy, as you can see, looking at the board on our top left, is not attending this race today. So it's Silly Bird versus Push It Storm for the championship in this one. Before we get into qualifying, let's take a quick look at the circuit. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit is 5.28 kilometers or 3.28 miles in length. We will have 29 laps to run around these 16 corners, 9 to the left and 7 to the right, with 2 DRS zones to aid in overtaking. One detection zone for a DRS zone will be at the entrance to turn 5, so you may see a lot of drivers really pushing it to the limit entering that corner to try and get that DRS on the longest straight on the track, and the DRS detection zone for the next one actually being right before the chicane, entering turns 6 and 7, I believe. Yes, before entering 6 and 7. And wow, I just realized I still have my audio mod installed, so we will be doing a lot of broadcast view as I have a mod installed for B8 engines. So it'll be a little different of a sound for this week's race, as I completely forgot about that. I am sorry about that, folks. But we are now loading in. Let's see who is out on track at the moment. We have Crazy Carter, Push It Storm, Flacco, Angel, M-Blaze. Pretty much everybody coming out the track minus the Gas Girl, Harmless Target, and Silly Bird coming out right away. Get the map loaded up here, as the first car out on a lap will be the Alfa Romeo of Push It Storm. Let's hop on board here with him as I try to remember how to work the spectator menu. Apologies for the incorrect engine sounds. I was having some fun in my team last week and I completely forgot that I installed it. So we get a little bit of a classic here, this Grand Prix. Watching Push It Storm as he enters the tight chicane of turn 6 and 7. We can expect to see a lot of overtakes being made here, trying to make use of one of the 2 DRS zones back to back here in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Push It Storm looks like he's having a pretty tidy lap so far. We will wait to see what it will turn out to look like once he crosses the line. Let's get the details up onto the track now. Looking at real life times, the track record for Abu Dhabi is a 126.103 set by Max Verstappen for the pole lap in 2021. Now, the track does run a lot faster in the game, so let's see what Push the Storm's able to do. Crazy Carter actually crosses the line first with a 126.658, and Push It Storm just casually comes across the line and says, I'll take that by a second and a half, with a 125.096. And Blaze comes across the line with a 125.780 as Push It Storm having a big moment into the wall. And goodbye to your front wing. Thank the Teflon for not casually retiring your car this early into qualifying. Druval comes across the line with a 140.083, hoping that was a fuel burn lap. If that was a push lap, that's kind of struggling. Same with King Hamilton there with a 144.694. Casual 19.5 seconds off the pace, so we're hoping he'll be able to pick it up on this lap. Let's hop on board with him, hoping this is a push lap. Going with a high fuel load here. Nova obviously doing a fuel burn lap as well with a 151.269. We're hoping to see some representative times here as we have a spin in Sector 1. That looks like it might be Nova, and yes it is. The Ferrari of Nova King spinning in Sector 1. We hop back on board with King Hamilton, who seems to be back onto a push lap. As we have another spin, that is going to be the Gas Girl spinning in out of turn 16 on her out lap. That is quite unfortunate for her, so this lap is not going to mean much. Silly Bird goes second fastest with a 125.110. These two, we will be looking to see how they duke it out over this race, as these two are the closest together in the standings coming into this race day. So we'll be looking to have some good racing action between the two of them, hopefully to battle at the front. Maybe we'll get a rendition of Verstappen versus Hamilton from 2021 between the Alfa Romeo of Push the Storm and the McLaren of Silly Bird. As King Hamilton comes across the line with a slightly better time of a 127.854, only puts him up into 6th place, so he'll be looking to set a better lap. Harmless Target and Prem going to be our next targets to watch, as they just came out of the pits for their first lap, and King Hamilton seemingly trying to burn as much fuel as possible. That's an interesting tactic. Let's hope he doesn't overheat his engine before he can get to the line. So we will hop on board now with the Alpha Tauri of Harmless Target coming out onto the track to set his first lap. I don't think we have anybody out on a lap right now. The only one that I believe may be on a lap right now is Druval. So let's hop on board with him until Harmless Target gets to the line. And I don't think we're going to see much of a representative lap time here on the mediums. May just be trying to save a set of softs for the race, do a couple laps on a set of mediums, see what time you can't put out. He did not invalidate his lap anyways, but we will see what comes as we will now hop on board with Harmless Target, who's crumbed across the line for his first lap of the session. Really want to take that turn wide there to maximize the amount of minimum speed you can get coming through that corner with such a long run into turn 5, which leads to the longest straight on the track. We can see cars reaching speeds of 200 to 205 miles an hour with the DRS. Abu Dhabi is a very interesting track where setups can really come into play in many different ways, because you could set yourself up for the many tighter or 90-degree corners on this circuit, or you can set yourself up to really maximize the DRS on those DRS straights with a lower downforce setup. So we hop on board again with Harmless Target, setting his first lap on track. Push It Storm still number 1 right now with a 125.096. Nobody has set a time as Harmless Target loses the rear coming out of the turn 9 change from 2021, where the chicane was taken out and it became a long, fast left-hander with a bank. We'll hop on board now with Grande Hombre, who is the next car to set a time. What is he going to be able to do in terms of pushing Push It Storm off the top step here and off of the front row? Push and Storm still only really being contested by Silly Bird here. Nobody set a lap time close to him. He's close to the two pairing at the top. The next closest being Silly Bird's teammate, as Grande Hombre goes 6th fastest with a 127.227. We will see what anybody else is really able to do, but right now, the two in the top of the championship are the ones at the front of the grid. Nova the King still has yet to set a representative lap time as Prem crosses the line to go 9th fastest with a 233. Obviously on a fuel burn lap there. We'll see what he's able to do on his next lap. Let's hop on board with Prem in the Red Bull and see what he's able to do on his first lap out. Already improving here in the first sector. Let's see if he's able to hold it together for the entire lap. I'm currently sitting 13th in the driver's standings, but a good result here could vault him up into the top 10 easily. As Push and Storm just rubs salt in the wound of Silly Bird, who is out on a lap, or who's not out on a lap just yet. I looked at his teammate, Flacco Angel, who just came into the pits. Or who's out on a lap, he's in the pits. Is Silly Bird. And Prem looking to make a move as he runs very wide out of the long turn 9. As Emblaze comes across the line to go 3rd fastest with a 125.256, but Nova the King is able to push and Storm off of the first place spot so far, off provisional pole with a 125.504, just able to go 300ths faster than Push and Storm. What of Prem X9? He goes 7th fastest with a 126.6. Flacco Angel next across the line. He does not improve any positions, but he improves 0.3 on his time with a 125.382. Who is out on a lap right now? Prem is not. Grande is not. Nova just finished his lap, so it seems like we have a bit of a lull as the Gas Girl also not on a lap. Almost Target coming out for his first true lap as he spun pretty much right at the end of his last, or not at the end, he spun very early in his first lap out on the track, as Nova has just sent a message up to the commentary box saying he's got at least another second in his pocket. So we will see what he's going to be able to do here, as there's a very close coming together between Push and Storm and Harmless Target. Harmless Target just starting his lap. Push and Storm just kind of relaxing on the racing line there. We'll see if anything comes of that in the steward's room. But Harmless Target continues on into that first DRS zone. The rear wing will open up. This is the fastest part of the track. We will see a lot of overtakes in this part of the track here, coming into the tight chicane of turns 6 and 7. But what of Harmless Target for this on his first lap that he is going to complete? Looks like the Gas Girl is on a lap as well. We'll hop on board with her seemingly at the end of her lap, see what she's able to put in. She's looking for a good performance as well this weekend. And we will see what is happening as the Red Bull is parked just inside. The Gas Girl must have been a fuel burn lap, I hope. She may have had an issue coming through that lap with a 136.4. That will not be representative of any kind of time whatsoever. We'll hop back on board with Harmless Target, the only driver left to set a time. Coming through the final sector, just 2 turns left to nail. What is he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to push the likes of Nova King and Push and Storm as he comes across the line? And it's going to be 3rd fastest with a 124.765, just 2.5 tenths off of provisional pole of Nova King. And we will see what he is able to do, if he's able to get another lap in this qualifying session. And Silly Bird comes across Silly Bird, is he out onto a lap? Yes, he is. He is on his second push lap here. Currently 6 tenths down on Nova King in provisional pole. Let's hop on board with the championship leader. as he finishes Sector 1. He's only up just under 2/10, so he needs to find a bit more in each corner, in each section left to be able to challenge the likes of Push It Storm and Nova King. As we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, looks like Push It Storm might have had a bit of an incident, and so does the Gas Girl in the last section. A lot of people spinning around in qualifying here. May not be able to find the right temperatures or the right balance in the car, that they're just losing it coming out of corners. But a Silly Bird gets the DRS rear wing wide open down the second long straight on this track. He is 5/10 up on his last lap, entering the final sector. A lot of time can be gained in this sector, and a lot of time can be lost in this sector. Let's see what he's gonna be able to do, as he just now has 4 corners remaining. What kind of time is he going to be able to put up? We'll hop on board with him for the rest of this lap. Little bit wide coming out of 15. What of Silly Bird? He goes third fastest with a 124.570. 3.5 100ths of a second off of Push It Storm. Next out on a lap is going to be, seemingly, Crazy Carter just started his lap as he is entering through Sector 1. And Nova the King going through Sector 3 now. And we will see him on his last push lap. 3 minutes remaining in the session. So we will see every single car out on track as we have yellow flags in Sector 2 on that long back straight. It seems to be one of the Red Bulls. Might be Crazy Carter, who seemingly was on the lap, but I guess he may not be. Either way, we hop on board now with Nova the King as he starts what will be his last push lap! And it might be a bit of commentator jinx. He will have enough fuel to be able to do another push lap. And you have more than enough time to get there, but that's quite unfortunate for him, as he's now going to have to back it down and recharge the battery. Hopping on board with the Red Bull now of Crazy Carter coming through Sector 3. I believe he is on a push lap, so we'll see what he's able to finish up with, as he just has 2 corners remaining. Keeps it on the track, takes the apex nicely, little wide coming out of the final corner. He's able to improve his time, but not able to improve his position with a 125.790. And this is really coming down to the wire now, as Red Bull teammate Prem comes across the line. And he improves to a 126.600. Still with a lot of fuel to play with, so he could go out and put another lap in. Flacco Angel also seemingly on a lap. He is really pushing, coming down the back straight. The rear wing opens. You can see in the background the cars are just queuing up as the AlphaTauri of Harmless Target is going in front of him, giving him a bit of a slipstream. So this might be a big help here for Flacco Angel. Harmless Target gets his AlphaTauri right out of the way on the Lewis Hamilton line on turn 1 of 2021. And Flacco Angel coming down the second part of the back straight here. See if he can make it clean through turn number 9. We've seen a lot of cars having a lot of issues coming out of this corner throughout the session. But he's able to stick it nicely. Carry the minimum speed all the way through that corner, through this very tricky last section around this circuit of Abu Dhabi. A lot of time to be gained in this section. What are we going to be able to see out of Flacco Angel? He has fought a lot up at the front of the grid so far this season. What is he going to be able to do here? Seemingly his final push lap of the session. Comes across the line, and he goes fastest to provisional pole with a 124.431. So Nova the King has to make sure he gets across the line for another push lap. Push It Storm has invalidated this lap. Almost has it coming together with the Williams of Druval running down in 11th, as King Hamilton has a bit of an incident and he retires from the session. Unfortunate to see him out. He will start at best 9th. And that is actually the session done so far. Push It Storm, best 3rd. Silly Bird, best 4th. Harmless Target out on another lap. But first, we will hop on board with Nova the King as he's coming through the final sector. He only needs to improve by 7/100ths of a second to pull in pole position. What is he going to be able to do on his last lap here? Coming across the line, and it's pole position provisionally with a 124.038, a full 4/10 faster than Flacco Angel, who's on his in-lap. Harmless Target coming through the long turn 9 now, through the very quick part of Sector 3 into the very technical part. You got to really make sure your tires are gripping the road to be able to carry the minimum speed wide there through turns 12 and 13, I believe. Coming out of the final corner, trying to carry as much minimum speed as he can. Coming to the line, little wiggle, and it's going to be best for 5th fastest with a 124.586. Gas Girl goes 9th with a 125.8, and I believe that's everybody off of push laps, so I'm going to run to the restroom before the race. Be right back. So coming out of qualifying, we go through the grid order one more time. Nova the King in the Ferrari getting a nice 3/10, almost 4/10 gap at the top of the field ahead of Flacco Angel. Push It Storm in 3rd, right next to his championship rival Silly Bird on the 2nd row. Harmless Target will start 5th ahead of the Aston Martin of M. Blaze. The 2 Red Bulls on row 4, Prem and Crazy Carter, they'll be looking to make up places off the start. Gas Girl going 9th on a set of mediums. Interesting strategy from the Gas Girl. Joining her on the 5th row is going to be King Hamilton, and then rounding it out in the 6th row will be the Aston of Grande Ombre and then Druval. So they will be both looking to get aggressive off the start. Looking to get the best start possible, try and make up as much track position. Normally, Abu Dhabi in the F1 game, this is a very common one-stop track. So we may not see a lot of alteration. Pretty much the difference is going to be who's going to start on hards and who's going to start on mediums. This medium length race is an easy one-stop. It just comes down to who can manage the tires better and have the freshest, fastest tires at the end of the race. As we await the formation lap, let's take a quick look at the standings one more time. So coming into this race, Silly Bird and Push It Storm, the closest pairing for the top spot, with Push It Storm needing a DNF from Silly Bird and him to win, and that will put them right next to each other in the Drivers' Championship. But we got a close battle for 3rd and 4th, too, as the two starting closest together, as Push It Storm is in the middle of a McLaren sandwich. Flacco Angel biting on the heels of Push It Storm in the Drivers' Championship, just 5 points behind. And Nova the King, who starts on pole, is 5th in the driver's standings with 82 points. So he's looking for a big finish this race to try and close that gap just a little bit to the top 4. And we will truly be able to see what he's going to do once we get going. Formation lap now, we'll be able to see what of the tires and what of the strategy for each driver. Nova the King, our pole sitter, starting on hards. Flacco Angel and the McLaren behind, starting on the mediums. Good mix throughout the field. Push It Storm on hards as well with Silly. Both McLarens actually going on to the same strategy. Let's watch this throughout the race to make sure they don't really do each other dirty. If they box on the same lap accidentally, this could really hurt both, whichever one of them is running behind. Also, unironically, both McLarens wearing number 2 this season. I wonder if that was planned. Harmless Target and M-Blaze, a third row, both starting on the hard tires. Prem looking to make up places on those mediums right off the start. Carter and the Gas Girl, 8th and 9th, running on hards. And I thought I had a... oh, there it is. And the rest of the grid running on the mediums behind them with King Hamilton, Grande Hombre, and Druval. So we will see who's able to make up places, who's going to be the biggest winner and the biggest loser when the lights go out here in about 30 seconds time, as we just have to wait for the drivers to finish warming their tires, really making sure they get a lot of temperature in those rears to be able to get off the line as best they can. The hard runners are going to have more of a struggle with that, as it's much more difficult to get temperature into the harder compound tires. As you can see, the projected strategy on your screen now. The mediums will probably last about 12 to 16 laps, and then they'll be looking to box for hards. The hards may last anywhere between 14 to 18, if you can really push it, 19 or 20. But you're going to be looking at some dead hards at that point as we wait for the grid to pull up. Disqualifications aplenty. Nova the King, as you can see on your screen, looking to defend from Flacco on those mediums. As the final drivers pull into their starting grid positions. And it's 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and it's foot to the floor and fly away. Nova the King gets away pretty well, but Flacco Angel's got away even better as he gets ahead of Nova the King with those medium tires as we have contact. And Nova the King already dropping into 4th. Push and Storm goes off the track to take the lead of this race. Flacco Angel in 2nd, Silly Bird in 3rd, Nova the King dropping to 4th. Harmless Target staying in 5th, Brett making up places on those mediums into 6th. As the 2 McLarens go battling into turn 5. Let's hop on board here with Silly Bird, the second of the 2 McLarens. Push and Storm got a great start on those hards. And now the 2 McLarens are going to be looking to push past them on those faster medium tires at the start of this race here. Nova the King, we're going to be looking to make up places here on this first couple laps. Maybe. He's got a big gap to make up, though, against 2 people that have much faster, fresher tires on those mediums. They're going to have a lot better temperatures to start with. So as it stands, as they go into turn 9, Push and Storm leads from Flacco Angel, Silly Bird, Nova the King, Harmless Target in 5th, Pram in the Red Bull in 6th, M-Blaze in 7th, the Gas Girl 8th, King Hamilton making up places in 9th, and Crazy Carter losing a couple places at the start, dropping down into 10th. Biggest losers and winners on the first lap. Nova the King, our big loser on lap 1, dropping 3 places. Started in pole, didn't get the best start off the line, as we have a yellow flag here in Sector 3. Who is it? And it's going to be the Red Bull of Prem. He had he had a pretty good start, but he lost it, and he's now dropped to the back of the field. Unfortunate for him. As soon as I start talking about the winners and losers on lap 1, it is Prem being the biggest loser here on lap 1, dropping from P6 or P7 where he started and running. Oh my. Let's hop back up here before we see some things we don't want to see. Closest battle in the field as Nova the King looks to be making a move here onto Silly Bird. He's got a big run going down the back straight, no DRS, as Flacco Angel also makes his way into the lead. The medium tires working well for him. Jumps the curb, and he's going to be trying to push away from Push and Storm, who's coming back at him as they run down the straight going into turn 9. Who's going to be able to move out of DRS before it is activated next lap? As we know, the first 2 laps will be run without DRS. It will be activated on the 3rd lap. So gaps are starting to form a little bit. Silly Bird already dropping out of the DRS of Push and Storm, as Harmless Target seems to have had a bit of a spin. He had a big spin on the exit of turn 9. He's dropped down to 11th. His race may not be over, but he's definitely going to be a lot more challenging now. But he can just look to go long on those hards as Push and Storm taking a very interesting line through the final section of this race. Flacco Angel sets the fastest lap. Never mind, M-Blaze jumping up there with a 128.827. As DRS is on and line this lap, the front 6 will have DRS of each other. And just to rub dirt into the wound for Harmless Target, he has to come into the pits. And he retires the car, so that 5-second penalty won't matter too much, as we've had another spin on the track. That is the Aston of M-Blaze. He had another good start, but now has gone by the wayside. No moves really being made with the DRS down the back straight here. Our closest fight on the field is actually going to be Silly Bird pushing up onto the rear end of Push and Storm. Look at the exit he gets, but he actually drives right into the back of Push and Storm. He's trying to stay in that slipstream with the DRS. He's going to be able to make the move down the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he is. Maybe Push and Storm coming back at him on the outside. Can he stick it around the outside? These two are going wheel to wheel, but Push and Storm able to keep himself in front. And Silly Bird with a big dive down the inside. He gets his McLaren up into P2, and it's going to be a 1-2 for McLaren right now. Obviously, with 26 laps still to run, anything can happen here in Abu Dhabi. More yellow flags in Sector 3, as that's going to be the Williams of King Hamilton. He made up places as Silly Bird sets the fastest lap of the race, and then Gas Girl takes it right away with a 128.582. We've had some good racing so far. We've already had some incidents, and we're only 4 laps into this race. We've got another 25 laps to run, and we've already had some spice, a little bit of pepper thrown into it. Maybe a little bit of salt being rubbed into some wounds for some drivers, as Druval has sent his car into a wall, and that's gonna be a full-blown safety car, at least a virtual safety car. And no, it's the full-blown safety car. The full-blown safety car is out. We will see if one of the two McLarens, running 1 and 2 right now, will look to be making a pit stop to get off of those mediums and jump onto the hard compound tires. They may be able to push it to the end if enough incidents happen throughout the race. We've already had a lot of incidents for lap 1 of this race, but who knows what's going to happen going forward? As did Prem just overtake Harmless Target under a safety car? What is going on back here? I think these two just came out of the pits, but it looked like no, Prem definitely overtook him under the safety car. Doesn't look like the stewards are looking into it, but we will see if anything comes of that in the future. Right now, the big winners for the start of the race, as we look at most positions gained, Flacco Angel moves himself up into first. Silly Bird goes from 4th on the grid to 2nd. Push and Storm remains in 3rd. Nova in 4th, dropping from pole position. And the Gas Girl, who started 9th on the grid, is now running in 5th. And she actually has a good chance to make a really long run here. Every hard tire runner is quite happy with the safety car because they get a couple laps of slow time where they can really save those tires and be able to push them a couple laps extra to be able to get onto those mediums and have the much faster, much fresher tire later in this race. We'll see what kind of strategy comes out, as neither of the McLarens decided to box under the safety car. They're really looking to make those mediums work. The two of them, if they're able to pull enough of a lead from Push and Storm and Nova King, they may be able to just make this strategy work. It hasn't worked out for a lot of the other medium runners, Druval being one of them. He spun 2 laps ago, causing this safety car. Harmless Target started on the hards, and he's already had to box to the mediums. We have to assume he had some kind of damage from the incident that we were unable to catch, unfortunately. But as it stands now, for the McLarens, the mediums have run well, but for everybody else, it just hasn't worked out that well. Grande and King Hamilton have made up places on those mediums, but it's more or less to the fact that we've had incidents on the track and people have lost places. They weren't really gaining a lot of time like you're really looking to on those medium tire strategies. We'll see if what they're able to do, because under safety car in this game, keeping temperature in those hards is quite difficult. As Grande Hombre has rejoined us, I didn't even see that he had left the session. He may be having some connectivity issues. We'll see if he's able to maintain or resolve those before the race ends. As this should be the final lap under safety car. The incident's been cleared. We're just most likely waiting for Harmless and Prem to catch up to the safety car. But as it stands, we should have an exciting safety car restart. Push and Storm has been able to get a good run pretty much the whole time. He had a good start off the line, but wasn't able to really make the places he wanted to because of the great defense of the cars in front of him. We'll see what he's able to do on the safety car restart. The two cars in front of him will have much more grip in terms of raw tire grip, but after a couple laps, we may see those mediums start to begin to fall off as they fall out of their full working window. There comes a time where those medium tires will be much slower every lap than those hard tires as we get further and further into this stint. So we will see what is going to happen on this restart. We are hoping that the safety car will come in this lap. We're waiting for the word from race control as to what is going on. And yes, the safety car is coming in this lap. So we'll see what is going to be able to happen in about 5 corners time. We'll see what kind of racing action we're going to get as the drivers try to put as much temperature into those tires as we can before the track goes fully green. The calm before the storm. On the safety car restart, will it be Push and Storm? Will it be Silly Bird, or will it be Flacco Angel? As the cars are coming through turn 15 and 16 now, when will Flacco Angel release the field? When will we go? And it looks like we're going now as the green flag waves and the drivers are back to racing. We're back to racing speed here in Abu Dhabi. Flacco Angel got a very good drive off the restart, as did Silly Bird and Push and Storm. It's still showing me that we have yellow flags in all the sectors, and now the track goes green as Prem has already made up a place on the safety car restart on Grande Hombre. Let's hop on board here with Push and Storm. Third place in the Drivers' Championship is Grande Hombre. He's retired from the session, and we might have another VSC. As of right now, though, it's looking like we're not going to have much. I don't know what happened to him as his car is still rolling. It stops itself right at the exit of turn 5. But right now, let's hop on board here with the Alfa Romeo Push and Storm, who doesn't get a good drive out of that corner, using the battery to try and maintain in that DRS range of Flacco Angel and Silly Bird. As Nova the King may be looking to make a push on these hard tires. He's got a lot of fuel to play with. He's got all of the battery to play with. This Push and Storm has already gained back a lot of time coming out of turn 9 there. Through the final section, not a lot of overtaking opportunities, but we may see the drivers just really looking to get those tires back into working condition, as Nova having a bit of a moment, and as we're watching Nova, Prem is retired as well. That's 2 retires. That's 2 cars retired from this race on the restart lap. And I don't even know what happened with either of them. I wasn't watching either of them. Flacco Angel getting a little wide there coming out of turn 1. But seemingly may have spun on their own. There might have been a bit of contact, but I'm not too sure. As now the gas girl's going off. What is going on? And she definitely got hit. As you can see, the front wing end plate is missing from her Mercedes. So she may be looking to limp back to the pits here and get a new front wing, as the front 4 have already pulled a massive gap to Crazy Carter in 5th. 3 seconds separating Nova the King, as we have Push and Storm looking to make a move here on Silly Bird. Let's hop on board with Silly Bird in the McLaren, looking to defend from Push and Storm. Let's hop on board with Push and Storm, as he looked much closer coming out of that corner. than he really was, or he may have just gotten a horrible drive out of that corner. But now, Flacco Angel comfortably out in first place with a 1.3 second lead. But as Push It Storm goes wide again, he's maybe having some issues with his tires. Second, third, and fourth are separated by less than a second, and with DRS being enabled this lap, we may see a lot of battling. Nova the King looking after his horrid first lap. He's looking to make up some places here. With this being a tight battle on the track, Emblaze looking to possibly make a move here onto King Hamilton going into the DRS zone. He may be able to sneakily get... Oh, is it? Never mind. King Hamilton goes wide out of turn one, and Emblaze is just going to get the move done. He may be running wide through the corners, but he's running wide past King Hamilton into 6th place. Hop on board again with Nova the King. He's got the DRS. So does Push It Storm. Is he going to be able to get the move done? He slides to the inside. And he's going to be able to be clean past going into turn 6 and 7 through that tight chicane. And he's still going to get DRS on Silly Bird. Silly Bird also going to be getting DRS from his teammate, Flacco Angel. The McLarens playing the strategy pretty darn well so far. Keeping each other close enough that they're going to hopefully be able to pull away from Nova the King and Push It Storm on those hard tires. They should have the grip advantage, but they may not be making his best use of it. Or maybe in those first couple laps of really pushing hard to get to the position they're in, maybe they burned their tires out just enough that they're starting to lose a little bit of grip already. We'll really see what happens over these next couple of laps as we're getting to that turnover point where the hard tires are going to be faster than those mediums. We'll see when the two McLarens are going to be looking to come in. We could see people on the mediums pitting as early as lap 10 or 11 to really try and undercut the hard runners. As Nova King runs very wide through turn 1. Thank goodness for the rules of this series that we really don't see a lot of track limits violations in the series. It's not unheard of, but there's not many that we will see as we get into the first DRS zone. Once again, Silly Bird just missed out on his teammates, so Nova the King may be looking to make a move out of the second DRS zone. Let's hop on board with him as he is just gaining and gaining on those hard tires against the mediums of Silly Bird. As he is within 7/10, and he's gaining, but Silly Bird was able to get DRS, but the big advantage for Nova King, Silly Bird is already flashing, which means he's under 10% ERS, so he won't have the advantage of that 160 extra horsepower whenever you activate the overtake button. So we will really see what is going to transpire coming through this, because this is a big advantage for Nova the King, as Push It Storm is literally pushing Nova the King through the final section, seemingly gripping those hard tires to the track extremely well. As we have a big incident here, that's Crazy Carter, who spun in the Red Bull, and he may be having some issues with that car, as he wasn't getting out of the wall very quickly. But after checking in with Crazy Carter, let's hop on board again with Silly Bird, who is our championship leader in the Tuesday Night Challenger Series. He will have DRS, as will the two cars behind him, but Flacco Angel looking to defend from his teammate. These two, while they may be teammates, they're still fighting for a driver's championship here. Hop on board here with Silly Bird with the DRS. Is he going to be able to make a move stick into turn 6? He goes down the inside of his teammate, able to just outbrake him, and he loses the rear just a little bit. Coming into the second DRS zone, but his teammate coming back at him with the DRS. Silly Bird has already lost it. Flacco Angel flying into the lead, but now Silly Bird under pressure from Nova the King. He dives to the inside going into turn 9. Gets him deep, and he's able to dive into second place ahead of the championship leader on those medium tires. He's definitely struggling here. We've seen him lose grip of those mediums twice on this lap alone, and now Push It Storm was pushing him, but loses the car just a bit. And now the front 4 has now separated into the front 3. We'll see if Push It Storm is able to make up that time. He was on the rear wing of Silly Bird, but he lost it going into turn number 12. And that has cost him quite a bit of time, but as I say that, he is right on the fringe of getting DRS as Nova the King is hunting down the current leader, Flacco Angel. McLaren looking to really lock up the Drivers' Championship, or the Constructors' Championship this week. A good finish here with a lot of the primary drivers for these teams here in the Tuesday Night Challenger Series not present. With a good finish, they can lock up the Constructors' Championship. Let's hop on board here with Nova the King with the DRS. He's not going to be able to make a move stick. Let's hop on board now with Harmless Target going into the DRS zone. He's going to have DRS of King Hamilton. The rear wing flies open on that AlphaTauri. Hops into the slipstream of King Hamilton, but King Hamilton doing a great job of defending. He may have dumped all of his battery there as we look at the front wing of this AlphaTauri. We see the Williams of King Hamilton out. Harmless Target. He's entering another DRS zone. Is he going to be able to get the move done going into turn 9? No, he's not. King Hamilton doing a great job of defending. We see a bit of a setup difference coming into play here. Harmless Target had the DRS, but he's not able to make any kind of an advantage, even with the DRS. So we may be seeing Harmless Target on a higher wing setup and a higher downforce setup compared to the Williams of King Hamilton. We'll see who is able to make it work the best. As I'm saying this, Silly Bird, the first person that has not had damage to dive into the box. He will be throwing on a new set of those hard compound tires here on the entrance of lap 13. And as I say that, King Hamilton also diving into the box to get a set of those hard compound tires. So now Nova the King has a really, really good chance to be able to make a move here on Flacco Angel. Let's hop on board with him into the first DRS zone. What kind of move is he going to be able to get done? Not much, but he's going to be able to get very close as he looks down the outside. Flacco Angel defends it nicely as Nova looks to make it. Ooh, the two drivers almost touch coming through turn 7. And that may really cost Nova as he's not going to be able to get the best drive out of the chicane as the Gas Girl has spun yet again. Her race has just gone from bad to worse. But Nova the King coming out of turn 9 gets a decent drive. Flacco Angel maybe using some of his ERS as Nova the King is going to dive to the inside. Going into turn 13 and he makes the move stick. As I keep pressing the pause button, no he hasn't. Flacco Angel coming back at him on those medium tires. Making the best of what he's got on 12-lap-old rubber. Will we see him dive into the box? His teammate dove in last lap. No, he will be staying out for yet another lap on those mediums, really trying to make those things last. As, oh my goodness, Push It Storm. Damn near running over the signs coming out of turn number 17, or 16, excuse me, the final corner on this track. He is really trying to invent some lines there. As I said last race, some people just try to invent some lines, kind of heir to Nicolas Longuet in Bahrain not too long ago. But we look again as the Ferrari of Nova the King with DRS on Flacco Angel. He should be able to make this move stick. Ideally, Flacco Angel flashing, no DRS! Oh my goodness! Two coming wheel to wheel at nearly every turn and every chicane. These two just so close together at all times. Nova the King gets into the lead and Flacco Angel maybe trying to come back at him. He's got every ounce of ERS pushing, trying to make the move, but he's not going to be able to make it stick. He's not going to be able to get the move done as the Gas Girl again through Sector 1 has spun. That is just not her part of the track, unfortunately. I believe that's 2 laps in a row we've seen the Gas Girl spun through that section of track. With her luck, maybe a safety car will come out to be able to bring her back into this race, but seemingly her race is pretty much over. Hop on board with the front 2 as Flacco Angel dives into the box to throw on a new set of those hard tires. The hard tire runners looking to try and push as much of an advantage as they have against these medium runners. Harmless Target being the only one who's still out on mediums, but remember, he boxed early on, I believe, lap 3 with damage to his car, and he's already running back in 5th on a fresher set of the medium tires. Make that 4th place. Let's hop on board here with him as he has ran a pretty darn good race after spinning on lap 2 and dropping to the back of the field. He's made up a bunch of places. As right now we've kind of jumped into a lull, and the gas girl definitely having problems as we see that Mercedes has spun again, trying to get it back around. She may be dealing with some temperature problems in her tires. Let's hope she can get those worked out and keep those within a working level. Since when did we sign Nikita Mazepin into Formula West League Tuesday Night Challenger Series? Let's hope the gas girl can get those temperatures back into a normal working level. As Nova, what are you doing here? Why are you sending me messages into the commentary box? But apparently, Harmless Target is not in the game, so his AI is running quite a good race. And the gas girl has just decided to remove herself from the race. Quite unfortunate for her, but that will be her race over. And now we get into the nice lull. And as I say that, I am proven wrong as Silly Bird is catching up to the AI of Harmless Target. What are we going to be able to see from the coding of our friends at Codemasters? And yep, the AI is just far too slow for the regular driver. And we will soon see the other McLaren of Flacco Angel, who runs tad wide at that first corner. We've seen a lot of people running wide there. He will be looking to make a move, hopefully, onto his teammate here soon. They're looking to try and get back into any kind of a range to make a move on Nova the King, as Nova the King is just sending me messages into the commentary box through the beautiful chat of this live stream. So we can only hope in the coming stages of this race to see a little bit more action, as right now we'll hop on board here with the man sending me messages in the commentary box. As he will be looking to make his pit stop onto some medium tires soon. With the safety car, he's probably looking to go until maybe the end of next lap. Quit your waving at me, I know you're listening. But you can already see that the tires are starting to grain just a bit, and he may be starting to lose some grip as the first hard tire runner comes into the box, and that is going to be Push and Storm. Getting a set of those medium tires, looking for the undercut on Nova the King. Where is he going to come out in order with the McLarens? The McLarens on those warmed up hard tires are seemingly going to come out quite far ahead. Silly Bird for sure, way ahead. Flacco Angel, he's also going to be quite far ahead, so we'll see what Push and Storm is going to be able to do once he gets those mediums into a good running temperature. As Nova the King has informed me, he will be boxing this lap for a fresh set of mediums. Calculating what the gap will be, seemingly he will come out probably right alongside of Flacco Angel, so Silly Bird will most likely have the lead of this race when Nova the King comes out of the box, but we will really see what is going to happen, because the weird pit lane going under the track and then back out may help the pit lane a little bit, but I don't think Nova the King has enough of an advantage to be able to come out ahead of one, if not both of the McLarens. So as he dives into the box, let's dive on board with Silly Bird coming through the final sector now. Is he going to be able to get past and fly past enough that his teammate is able to get past the Ferrari of Nova King, as it was a pretty seemingly quick stop? Emblaze now jumps into the lead, staying out on those hard tires, maybe looking for a safety car, or maybe he's managed his tires well enough that he's got a couple more laps of life in those hards. Lap 18 of 29, we hop on board with Nova the King flying out of the pits. He's not going to be in DRS range of Silly Bird, but luckily enough for him, Flacco Angel is also not in DRS range of him. So once Nova the King gets his tires into a normal running temperature, he should be able to make a move relatively easily onto Silly Bird, as we saw going down the front straight from the camera angle. Silly Bird flashing, meaning he's under 10% ERS. He will not, he will not have the advantage of that 160 extra horsepower. And he really needs to attempt to try and save as much as he can, because he knows Nova the King on those faster, fresher mediums, he's going to be coming back at him here really on this next lap, as Nova the King just through Sector 2 has already gained 5/10 and counting. He's just shy of half a tenth behind the McLaren of Silly-Bird. The strategy for the McLarens may not be paying off as they hoped. Oh my goodness! That's a McLaren that spun, and it's Flacco Angel. Flacco Angel spun coming through turn 15, and that has really ruined the McLaren team chances, as we see Emblaze diving into the box, finally getting rid of those 18 lap hold hards. But we hop again with Nova the King, who is making a charge behind the championship leader of Silly-Bird. Silly-Bird still flashing. Nova the King has a huge ERS advantage as he almost goes into the rear wing of Silly-Bird. This is going to be tight, but Nova the King, look at the amount of grip he's got coming out of turn 5. He's going to be able to make the move stick easily, as he still gets all the advantage of the DRS down the whole straight. And he's got a lot of extra ERS to play with as well, so he may be able to easily pull away from Silly-Bird and just make this advantage something insurmountable. And even though Silly-Bird has the DRS, look at the advantage that Nova King has pulled just in this last section alone, as he set the fastest Sector 2 of the race so far. He's pulled 1.2 seconds just for making the overtake in the middle of the first DRS zone. So seemingly he's going to be able to make this race easily a victory unless we see some mistakes. My commentator cursed the qualifying, so we'll see if I just did it again. But hopefully Nova the King is able to make it stick, as he sets the fastest lap of the race with a 126.681. Really looking to pull 26 points for himself and make that gap slightly smaller in the Drivers' Championship. And now we enter this point of the race where I have to try and find things to talk about, because the closest gap on the field right now is the championship leader, Silly-Bird, who is 2.2 seconds and climbing away from the leader, Nova the King. As Nova says, you will be saving tires now, so hopefully Silly-Bird was able to save some of his ERS just a little bit, so he's able to make this race close. You can see there he is sitting on about 13% ERS. Let's hop on with Nova the King and see what he's on. As he's on 33%, he's still got a 20% advantage. And this is the part of the race where things are very boring. Because yes, we have the pinnacle of motorsport here on display, but we don't have any cars racing each other. As of right now, we have 8 cars out on a track, basically just trying to do hot laps on racing tires. So we'll see if anybody's able to beat the fastest lap time of our current leader, Nova the King, and who's able to make a gap close up a little bit. As Nova the King on that last lap alone has pulled out another 1.2 seconds on the championship leader, Silly-Bird, but Push and Storm seems to be making that gap a lot smaller. Just through Sector 1, he's gained almost 2/10 to Silly-Bird. We might have some action here on our hands, folks. I know that's what we're all looking for, is, again, Push and Storm making his name Nicholas Longuet around Bahrain, trying to catch Thomas Ronhar. We all know what Ronhar might be doing, so we'll see if Push and Storm's able to make like Longuet and catch up to him. Nova the King asking me and saying he thinks that Push can get Silly-Bird. I believe that is 100% possible. Already on this lap, he's made up at least 4/10, if not 5 to 6/10 at this point, with 4-lap fresher medium tires compared to Silly-Bird's 8-lap old hard tires. Silly Bird seems to already be slightly struggling on those tires. And Push It Storm's tires are just getting into their normal and fun working level. I mean, heck, with the way Push It Storm just ran that last sector, you can see the amount of grip he's had. He just gained 3.5, 4 tenths just in that sector alone. Still not setting his fastest lap times, but the McLarens really took a big chance and hoped that they were able to push a huge advantage in the start of the race, starting on the mediums and running the slower tires later. Push It Storm making his strategy work. Let's hop on board with this fine gentleman here, as he's going to be looking to make a move stick between one of these two DRS zones. 7 tenths back at the start of the DRS zone. That rear wing of the Alfa Romeo is going to open here with the faster, fresher tires. Silly Bird looks to be pushing through this sector as he only loses a tenth from the DRS advantage of Push It Storm. Much closer going through the chicane. What kind of exit can Push It Storm get? Pretty good one. As the rear wing opens once again for the last time this laps. He may not be gaining enough. He's got the ERS on, the DRS open. Is he going to try to make a move? He looks to go around the outside coming through turn 9. Can he go for the switchback? As Silly Bird has a big moment coming out of turn 9, but he's able to keep it in front of Push It Storm, at least for the time being, as Push It Storm looks to go down the inside of the McLaren. But he's not able to make it stick. Silly Bird with some great defending here as Push It Storm again is making a Nicholas Longuet can't claim. I can't speak English anymore. But Push It Storm is really trying to push on the back of that McLaren, as Silly Bird just doesn't have the grip he had a couple laps ago, and Push It Storm making those medium tires work and really putting a lot of pressure on the championship leader of Silly Bird. They are within 4 tenths going through the first sector. DRS for sure for Push It Storm, unless he has a giant moment, which, yet again, running off track, making his own line. He just decides what he does on his own. He just says, I want this line and I'm going to take it. So here we go, half a second back as Push It Storm as we open that rear wing on the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to be able to make a move stick on the McLaren this lap? Let's hop on board here with third place in the Drivers' Championship, as he's not going to make a move there. Both cars running very low here on ERS, so they will not have the extra 160 horsepower. As Silly Bird gets a great drive out of turn 7 there. And you can tell he's pushing as the rear light is flashing, meaning he's under 10% ERS. And these two have just been going back and forth with each other for the last probably 3 laps or so. Hopefully Push It Storm is able to really get alongside of him and really pressure Silly Bird. But Silly Bird has been running some pretty decent laps ahead as I say that, he runs wide through turn 15. But this is definitely our tightest battle on the track. As you can see from the map in the bottom right, Note for the King is pretty much smooth sailing out in front. Let's hope I didn't just cast or curse him into a Mazda Spinata, fitting for a Ferrari. But seemingly with 5 to go, he is clear out in front with no contention for the win. Let's see if he's able to make it stick through the last couple of laps. Is Silly Bird making those hearts work? He's gained an advantage here on the last lap. Just a few tenths, but that can be all he needs to maintain second place here and to really push that advantage in the Drivers' Championship just a little more. As we haven't really focused on a lot of other people this race so far, as nothing is going to happen through the final sector. Let's hop on board here with Crazy Carter, a fan asking for a first-person view with Crazy Carter. Let's hop on board with the Red Bull. His teammate did not make it as far into the race as him, so he is really looking to try and make up some time on the computerized ghost of Harmless Target. Who knows what we will see really at the end here. We might have some spicy racing action, as watching the timing tables, Silly Bird and Push It Storm again within 5 tenths of each other. As the race winding down, seemingly the only fight on the grid remains to be P2 and P3 between Push It Storm and Silly Bird, as Push It Storm again running extremely wide. Really wondering what kind of strategy he's going for here, but again, as I say that, I should just shut up as he goes for a big send down the inside. Push It Storm gets his car all the way ahead through turn 6, and he's ahead of the McLaren of Silly Bird, and he gets a great drive coming out of turn 7. Silly Bird coming back at him with the DRS here. Push It Storm seems to be making a push to really get out of the DRS range of Silly Bird on those old hard tires. Push It Storm really showing what kind of grip those mediums still have. He may have drained the rest of his battery, but luckily enough for him, Silly Bird doesn't have much either. The grip is getting hoarse. We had a lot of battles early in the race, but now everything has kind of settled down besides these two who have really been going back and forth with each other for basically the entire second stint. Push It Storm came out just behind the McLaren of Silly Bird after Nova the King made the move on him. Push It Storm boxing one lap earlier than Nova the King. He got stuck up with the McLarens, and Nova the King was able to get his move done very quickly, and obviously pull into a quite comfortable lead at 10.3 seconds ahead of second place. Silly Bird still trying to look to come back at Push It Storm. Both of these two just pushing their cars to the absolute limit, draining any ounce of battery that they might have left in the car. Coming through turn 9 now, who's able to get a better drive, and it's the Alfa Romeo of Push It Storm on those fresher mediums. Silly Bird may have a chance here in the closing laps with being on the hard tires. They have a much longer quality working window. Those mediums may start to fall off soon. Abu Dhabi is a higher degradation track, so as the graphics said at the start of the race, those hard tires should last anywhere between 18 to 14 laps. And Silly Bird has just reached 14 laps on those tires. We may start to see some degradation from him, but those mediums, the first car to box actually from the mediums onto the hards was Silly Bird, who boxed on the end of lap 10, start of lap 11. As let's ride on board with the current and comfortable race leader of Nova the King, as he has joined in the chat again, mentioning that the McLarens have been defending like their life depends on it, and yes, they have been. Specifically, and as I'm saying this, oh, they already made the pass. This has been the way it's been for a while. I thought we were gonna have some hotter racing action, but I was unfortunately let down because these two have been sitting in this position for a while. But yes, as Nova the King has mentioned, yes, our race leader has mentioned, the McLarens have been defending like their life depends on it. They really want to ensure they lock down this Constructors' Championship tonight. There's only one more race following this one in Canada. The race in Canada will take place, as I pull up the schedule, next Tuesday around the Circuit Guild Villeneuve. Same time, same place. You know where to come to find your Tuesday night Challenger Series action. As we get into the final 2 laps of this race, we hop on board now with Crazy Carter in the Red Bull, looking to make a move on the Ghost of Harmless Target, who has done a pretty good job of defending so far and keeping Harmless Target up in 7th place. We'll see if Crazy Carter is able to make a move while also keeping an eye on the timing tables to ensure that we don't miss any racing action as Silly Bird and Push It Storm enter into the second DRS zone. Neither have much ERS left to use, so I don't think we're going to see much of a move as I say that, Silly Bird gains 2.5 tenths just in that section alone. And just like that, the ghost of the target gets just out of range for Crazy Carter. As Nova the King, our race leader, enters the final lap. Let's ride on board with him for the final lap of this race. As making yet another Longuet line. This one fitting, though, because Longuet drives the Ferrari now. I think he's just doing this to show off now. But with an 11-second lead, I mean, what can you do? He mentioned he was saving tires from pretty much lap 20 on. So we'll ride on board with him for the final lap of this race, unless I see that Silly Bird seems to be making a move on Push It Storm. These two are the closest on the grid. As we're going to hop on board now with the McLaren of Silly Bird going through the DRS zone. Is he going to be able to make the move stick on to Push It Storm? He's going to go around. He's going to dive to the inside of the Alfa Romeo as the two are almost coming together. Is Silly Bird going to be able to get a good drive? Push It Storm goes very wide. Silly Bird's going to have the advantage of the DRS. Is he going to be able to make this move stick around the outside? He's flying around the outside. Let's hop on there with the Alfa Romeo. Push It Storm. Is he going to be able to come back at him through turn 9? No, he isn't. We'll see if he can make any kind of a move with the extra grip. But he's seemingly not going to be able to, as the Ferrari of Nova the King comes through the final corner, and he is gonna win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix! Push It Storm and Silly Bird fighting all the way through the final sector. Is he gonna be able to make a move out of the final corner? No, he isn't. Silly Bird comes home in second. Push It Storm rounding out the podium in third, and it's a McLaren 2-4 for Silly Bird and Flacco Angel, who comes in fifth. As I say this, we have a three-way battle here on the back straight. King Hamilton, Crazy Carter, and the Ghost of Harmless Target. Is Crazy Carter going to be able to make a move as M-Blaze comes across the line in fifth? The final fighting positions as Crazy Carter is dumping the ERS down the inside of King Hamilton. It must have been an illegal overtake as he backed out of it. He had the move done down the inside. Is he going to be able to make something happen? He's got 3 turns left to go. King Hamilton crawling, looking for any kind of grip he can. Crazy Carter looking to make a move down the outside, looking for a switch back into the inside. King Hamilton defending like a madman, looking like a bit of Lewis Hamilton himself. King Hamilton come home in 6th. Crazy Carter in 7th, and the Ghost of Harmless Target in 8th. What a race that was indeed. As M-Blaze gets your driver of the day here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And let me see if I cannot add Nova the King on the Xbox game app and get you guys a post-race interview with our race winner. If you just give me one moment, please. Please give me one moment, guys. On the stream, we are going to get interviews here with Nova the King, Pushed Storm, and Silly Bird. I'm just going to get everything all set up here really quickly. I'll get them all in, and then I will ask them individual questions one by one with our top 3 of the race here.
Hello.
Hello, Nova.
Let me, 1 second. Let me get my party audio turned on. We good?
Hello, Nova. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Great race out there today. Really, what was your thought in terms of strategy when it came to today's race?
You're cutting out massively.
Am I? Let me fix that. One moment, please.
You just cut out like massively.
Hello, is this any better?
Yes, yes it is. Yes
Okay.
it is.
Well, thank you for joining me here in the post-race interview. Nova, what were your thoughts coming into this race? Starting on pole, really, what was your strategy and what were you trying to do throughout the entire race here?
I don't know, just try to keep the hards in a good window. I mean, I thought the tires were gonna overheat. Someone started early, I think, and I didn't get my tire pressures changed back after the final run in qualifying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It wasn't too difficult. It was just keep the hards in a good window, keep it clean. It was a lot of people were taking too much risk, especially through those fast corners. And there's a random bump in the middle of turn in sector two, end of sector two, I think it was sector three, and that double right-hander, and it was a lift once the tires got a bit older. But yeah, you just had to. Honestly, it was more just managing myself, like managing how competitive I wanted to be, rather than managing my pace. Because I knew it was pretty easy. 3/10 for pole. I wasn't really worried about anything. I was just making sure I could keep it clean. But yeah, it was fun. Nice racing.
Even after the poor start on lap 1, you still were able to maintain your composure, dropping from P1 on the grid to P4 just after one corner. Was there any kind of doubt going into your mind throughout the rest of the race after dropping like that, or were you confident that you had a good strategy and you had the pace to be able to get it done?
No, like yeah, as you said, yeah, I knew I had the pace. I knew the confidence was still there. I didn't do really any practice. I went in the time trial to try, and then I just ended up dicking around for a bit. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on this, but yeah, I know what I did wrong. I put the diff too low for the start, and I just got revs instead of actual speed. Yeah, it's not really. I wasn't worried. The hards versus the mediums. The mediums suck on that first stint.
Yeah, kind of watching that. The two McLarens kind of tried to make an advantage of the mediums in that first stint, but I don't think it was really worth the pace disadvantage in the second stint when you guys were obviously going to be coming out on those much faster mediums, especially with that safety car in the middle there. They really weren't able to make those mediums last much longer, and I feel like the hards kind of fell out of their good window coming right into when you guys on the mediums late in the race were just starting to make those things work.
Yeah, I fully agree. I didn't expect to come up between them. I was hoping to come up between Push and the gap between Pushed and I believe it was Flacco behind Silly Bird. But yeah, I came up between them too. Not even in the DRS ahead, but crucially not. Flacco didn't have DRS behind me, and then the mediums warmed up fine. I thought they would overheat, but the highest they got was 102, and they were chilling. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't really too worried. I thought they held each other up in the first stint. They kept almost going to the back of each other. It's hard to hit your braking points, and when you have a car in front, especially in I believe it's turn 6 you really have to brake early and it hinders your lap time a lot. So it really just hurt them rather than anything else. They should have honestly had let one driver go ahead and it should have been Silly Bird championship leader. But they get to choose what they want to do, and I don't think it would have stopped me either way. Yeah, I felt good today. I felt good.
Well, great to see a great race out of you, and I believe it was about a 12-second advantage you had at the end of that race. Just, it was a fine race watching you. It was a great race to watch you, and can't wait to compete against you here on Friday.
Yeah.
Even though we already know, unfortunately, Sketchyville has locked down the drivers'
Sketchy
championship.
sandbags back at it again, huh?
Yeah,
Next season maybe.
sketchy sandbags. We'll see what happens on F123. We heard some promising things, but well, that's going to be the end for us. Thank you again, Nova, for joining me. on
Thank
the
you.
podium interviews. And we will hope to see you guys next week for the finale of the Tuesday Night Challenger Series presented by Formula West Leagues here around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. And join us tomorrow for the Wednesday night throwdown around Portimao at 10 o'clock. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you later.